So today we're gonna talk about dealing with anxiety of the future, and this is something that I struggle with a lot because I don't know if you're like me, but I have a lot of goals and ambitions, and one thing that I always worry about is if I'm doing everything that I need to do in order to ensure that all of my goals and ambitions are met in order to secure my future, not just for myself, but for my family. And one of the things I struggle with all the time is I'm always beating myself up about maybe I'm not doing this enough, or maybe I could have done that better, or I'm not at the level that I need to be at, or I should have prayed about this more, or I should have done this, I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I could have done this better. And the truth of the matter is, the future really ain't in my hands. And that's something I had to really learn early on. The only thing that I can control is if something bad or wrong, happens. The real key is how I handle it mentally. If I can control how I react to certain situations that happen in my life, then I'm already ahead of the curve in order to overcoming that obstacle. Because if I'm not mentally ready, or if I'm not mentally stable, if I'm not mentally strong enough to handle that, then I'm gonna have to take time out in order to get my mind ready, then teach myself how to overcome that obstacle. Whereas if I'm already mentally ready to know that there's gonna be an obstacle coming, or just to stay ready, or just to stay in a mindset to where I know that this can go wrong, but just in case if it does, I'm gonna handle it like I've handled all the other adversity and obstacles in my life. Then I'm gonna be ahead of the curve, and I'm gonna be more likely to overcome those obstacles, and it's gonna put me ahead of the curve, and it's gonna keep me on track to meeting all the goals and ambitions in my life. About this time last year, my biggest battle with anxiety was I wasn't sure if I had what it took to be able to live on my own. I spent a lot of nights, not being able to sleep. I was up, writing at 1 and 2 in the morning just because, uh, God was speaking to me a lot. He knew what I was going through. And I knew I was making all the right steps. I was making all the right preparations, but still in my mind, just the fear of failure was enough to keep me up at night. It was enough to have me get up early in the morning, at abnormal hours, and, just not really being myself because I was so afraid of what could go wrong, or afraid of, becoming broke or whatever. And I was just going to these extreme measures just to make sure that I had enough to, make ends meet when it was time for me to move out on my own. And one thing, like I said, I had to realize, I had to learn how to stop letting the anxiety of the future control my peace in this present moment. The only thing I can control is my mindset in the present moment. Let the future come as it comes, because it's going to come as it comes regardless. I can't control that. The only thing I control is what I do today. And one of the things growing up that I've always heard, one of my teachers say when I was in school was, what you do today is what you'll do in 5 years. If you make all the right preparations for today, it'll increase your chances for being successful in the future. So I've always kept that in mind, and I want y'all to keep that in mind as well. Don't let anxiety of the future control your life today. I promise you, it's gonna make your life so much easier. Stop putting so much pressure on yourself. Stop, beating yourself up. Maybe there are some things you could have done better. Maybe you shouldn't have went out and partied late last night, or whatever the case is, or whatever you think you shouldn't have done or you should have done better. But we all make mistakes. And at the end of the day, as long as you have a clear goal and a clear direction in your life, you have it a lot better than most people. There are some people in this world that don't even have a vision. And that's one of the most dangerous things to me in this world, is a person without a vision or a goal, because they feel like they're just here. And I don't want y'all to feel like that. I don't want y'all to be weighed down by the pressures and anxieties and the fears of life, because life is so much more than that. I want y'all to be happy. I want y'all to have joy and peace and comfort in y'all's lives. But y'all have got to let go of the pressure, because the future is gonna come regardless. Just control what you can control today. And once I learned how to do that, that released some of the pressure off of me. And when the time came, I was ready. And now fast forward a year later, you know, I'm in a lot better position than I was a year ago. I made all the right steps, I made all the right preparations, and in turn, I became as successful as I envisioned. And I'm taking the right steps again in order to become even more successful. So I know if I can do it, then y'all can do it. But the key is, do not let the anxiety of the future control your peace of today, control your state of mind of today. If you can do that, you will have the future that you have set out for yourself. That's the key. I know if I can do it, y'all can do it. Spiritual Prodigy.